Phew, now that I'm done with my English project, I can finally sit back and relax.
Huh, I wonder what that was.
My history project's due today? I thought it was due last week. I'll be honest, I procrastinated on this one. Not by any fault of my own, but I lost my history textbook.
You see, I keep my history book right beside my flammable milk, and one thing led to another. And
I knew I should have gone with almond. Wait a minute. I can just steal my project from my future self. I built a time machine last weekend out of a DVD player. Well, let's see what I did for my self-history project. Hello and welcome to the 6 o'clock edition of Back to the Newsture. The only news channel that uses a time-traveling DVD player to bring you the facts. On tonight's show, we will be discussing the antebellum period. Our first story tonight is about the Second Great Awakening of religion. That's tomorrow's news. There has been a spread in religion as of late, so stay safe out there, folks. It all started with one man in upstate New York, Charles Finley, when he went into public and declared to thousands that they should declare their religion as well. That spread it like crazy. Then Peter Cartwright carried a new strand called Baptist and Methodist down to the south. And if that wasn't bad enough, we got a crazy conspiracy theorist out here by the name of William Miller, who predicted that the Earth will end on October 21st, 1844, which might have been correct. And finally, in religious news, Joseph Smith spread his religion by sharing a book at a library called the Book of Mormons, which, terrible for him to share the book when he was sick. Terribly, we have him here tonight. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons, Joseph Smith.
That's me!
So, Joseph Smith, what do you think caused the sudden outbreak in religion?
Well, first of all, check out my amazing book, Mormons, now in book form. I think in part it's a reaction against rationalism and the beliefs during the Enlightenment.
So what is different about your religion compared to other religions?
Well, our teachings are based on the Book of Mormon, which show a major connection between the American Indians and the tribes of Israel.
So what do you think about people like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau? They question the established doctrines of the churches.
Well, both of these men are fantastic speakers and great Americans. However, self-reliance and simplified living can only take you so far without the help of God.
Thank you. You want to promote your book one more time?
Absolutely. As you can see, Mormon, now a book. Check it out at all your favorite retailers.
It's now just called the Book of Mormons, by the way.
Crazy.
That about covers the news and religion, so stay safe out there, folks. And remember to keep 6 feet away from any priest. Next is our science segment. Hello, and welcome back to the Science Show. I'm your host, Sawyer Dawson. On today's Science Show, all about sciencey and sciencey stuff, we are going to be talking about the antebellum period. Luckily, I got my notes all right here. Let's get into it. You see, during the antebellum period, social experiments were common due to the fact that they had so much land available. There was just a lot of different chances for people to do different things. You see, you got communities like Fora Philanthropics or on the Della community. They shared things, like property, housing, work, stuff like that, and marriage partners, but we don't talk about that. However, there was one community that did something a little bit interesting, if you ask me, that being the Shakers. You see, most communities, they have children to grow like communities do, but the Shakers, they didn't allow couples to get together, and they wondered why they died out. Then there was another group called the Anamana colonies, which were similar to the Shakers in the fact that they both wanted simple communal living. But you see, the difference is that they allowed the people to get together. That way they could have children and grow the community. So what did we learn from these experiments? I'm not sure. Maybe if you want your community to grow or something, you gotta allow them to have children, I guess. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope to see you guys next time before I go insane. Ha 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 ha. Thank you for that. Is he okay? Can someone go check on him? Now it's time for the art review.
Antebellum Special.
Hello and welcome to the art review. You see, during this time period, art really evolved. You see, there's a guy named Mr. Bingham who painted everyday things. You know, like a guy eating a banana for some reason. There's no evidence to suggest that he wasn't the one to paint this. And then you see you got people like Thomas Cole and Frederick Church who emphasized the beauty of America and painted things like New York, you know, where you can find a rat eating a pizza. You see, also during this time period, architecture was getting kind of reformed as well, and what they did was they stole things from the Greeks, like columns, for example, to incorporate into their own buildings. That's pretty neat. Books are neat. Let's talk about them next. You see, during this time, authors wanted to create a new style of books that were for Americans, like an American style of book. So they wrote books like The Scarlet Letter and Moby Dick. Luckily enough, with our state-of-the-art time-traveling DVD player, we have Herman Melville with us tonight, the author of Moby Dick. Take it away, Sawyer. Hello, our next interview is about the person who chased a whale and then wrote about chasing the whale, Herman Melville. So, Mr. Melville, where did you get the inspiration to write Moby Dick?
Thank you for having me, Sawyer. The inspiration came from the time I spent on the whaling ship, the Acushnet. We went after many whales, providing oil and other goods from the whales back to the American people. I was very inspired by that time I spent on the ship. It led to me creating the book that you're speaking of.
So, Mr. Melville, what do you think about how some people believe that there's a new type of literature that is distinctly American?
Well, I certainly think that has merit. There are a lot of great American writers putting out quite a few works that are deeply based in American culture and very, very different from other works we've seen in the past. So I would say that movement is definitely true. There are a lot of good American literature works coming out now.
So for your final question, what do you think about The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne?
Well, I think Nate did a good job trying to get his message across in his work, speaking about intolerance in American life. But I found it a little drab. It's simply a story on land. It didn't involve whales or oceans or anything really exciting like that. But hats off to him. He did an outstanding job with it.
That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's time for what most people have been waiting for, the weather. Expect 0% chance of alcohol today with the temperance movement. You see, during this time, alcohol was blamed for a lot of social ills and stuff like that. So people wanted to reform alcohol consumption because, like last week's forecast, people had been consuming 5 gallons per person, which is a lot. However, this afternoon we are expecting storms such as Dorothy Dix, Thomas Gallaudet, and Dr. Samuel Howe in Pennsylvania. That's right, the entire state of Pennsylvania, to fix mental institutions, establish schools for the blind and deaf, and also fix prisons. So that's something. And that's it for me, from Sawyer the Weatherman, and I'm signing off.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Come down to Seneca Falls Convention Review. This is the first women's rights convention in America. You can meet author of Letter on the Condition of Women and Equality of Sexes, Sarah Grimke, or participate in the signing of the Declaration of Sentiments.
Our next guest is a very special one. That's right, Mr. Top Hat himself, Abe Lincoln. Even though he wasn't a part of this chapter, I thought it would be important to interview him as a part of the abolitionist movement. So, here he is.
I believe you had prepared some questions for me.
That's right.
I believe I have some answers here written down.
So, Mr. Lincoln, do you consider yourself to be an abolitionist?
While I am deeply opposed to slavery and its morals, I do not consider myself an abolitionist. Abolitionists believe slavery should end, even though our Constitution grants the rights. While I support the ending of slavery, it must be done by the law.
So, Mr. Lincoln, what is your opinion on well-known abolitionists such as Frederick Douglass, Walker, or Garnett?
Mr. Douglass can speak firsthand about the brutality of slavery, and he advocates for political action to end slavery. However, Mr. Walker and Mr. Garnett advocate for radical solutions and violences which cannot be tolerated.
So, Mr. Lincoln, as your final question, what do you hope the country can accomplish about slavery?
Well, I hope that both sides can discuss this thing and be civil. War should not be the answer.
Thank you, Mr. Lincoln. Alright, that wraps up Back to the Newsture. Hope that you guys have an excellent day. Now that I'm done with that, I wonder what else will happen in the future. Hello, and welcome to Future News. It's me, not Sawyer, and I'm here to tell you about how a local man's house burnt down today after he started a fire with flammable milk. To quote an eyewitness, he should have got an almond. Dang it.
Come down to Seneca Falls Seneca Falls what?
He tripped. Just to let you know. This is real live action here. We filmed this live, okay?
Hello and welcome to the Art Review. Hello and welcome to the Art Review. Hello and welcome to the Art Review. Hello and welcome to the Art Review.